Oh. Live on YouTube. I am. It just took a second. Are we? Can someone tell me? Are we live? Holy shit, that was a crazy delay. Sorry. Minute and 33 seconds of sweat. God, you know, it would be craziest to have a thermometer in my mouth or in my butt when I'm doing this to watch, so you guys could see my temperature go up as I panic, or a heart rate monitor. Okay, I sent. You know what's funny? I sent Josh Bridges a link. He doesn't know. I did just send him a link. Like, hey, come on to the. He doesn't even know it's a podcast. I just sent him a link to StreamYard. Let's see if he comes on. Just kind of like trick him. I'm figuring it out. College Park forever. I see you. I see you. You guys, this isn't fun. Hey, Kimberly, what's up? Thank you. Guys, I'm getting off of Instagram. I'm going to focus on YouTube Live. Love you guys. Thanks for checking in. Bam. Delete video, discard. It's not fun. I don't enjoy it. But I mean, I enjoy it. How do I explain it? But I'm here. And throughout the day, so what happened is today, Guy was supposed to come on. Guillermo, someone can call in and pronounce his last name. And he was supposed to come on, and he had a scheduling issue. So we moved his show to Sunday. And I always have a bunch of topics that I want to talk about just in case I have to do a show by myself. So anytime I think of something that I see, for example, I'll give you some right now. I was at the beach today at a cafe on the beach, and there was a mom, and she was pushing her baby around in a stroller. And she sees another lady she knows, and she says to her, "Oh, Sally woke up in a really bad mood today." Sally's her daughter, who's in the stroller, probably, I don't know, 18 months, 2 years old. She said, "So I gave her a cookie to calm her down because I really wanted to change her mood from being upset to being happy." And I'm just like, holy shit. You gave your baby a cookie because it woke up crying. I know. I have to shame you. That is not good parenting. So I quickly run over to my notebook, but it's good podcast shit, right? So I see that, and then I run over to my notebook and I write it down. And that's the story I tell you. I had a blast with Stephanie Cohen yesterday. Not going to lie. Totally freaked out before the podcast started. I thought she was going to be aggressive, combative, a know-it-all, and she actually wasn't any of those. I think we had fun. And before that, I had John Brezink, pretty funny. Here I am. I'm thinking like I'm helping out the arm wrestling community, like doing some charity work by getting them, like interviewing some of those guys. I'm such a pretentious douche. Devin has 400,000 subscribers. I can't even get 10,000 subscribers. And I act like in my head I'm doing them charity. John has 25,000 subscribers. And the second he advertised my podcast for me, it exploded. I got thousands of views on it. We have a phone call. Podcast live. RJ, what's
Hello?
up? What's up, RJ?
Hey.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, just quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
Wondering if you could ever see your kids entering back into school. I know you kind of do the homeschool deal. Just kind of curious on what your thoughts moving forward. I know this is a crazy time we're in, but just kind of curious what your thoughts were on all that in the future.
Oh, man. Help me out. Do you have kids?
I do. I have a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. I'm actually a public school teacher in Illinois, so it's kind of crazy. It's not bad as California, but just kind of curious on your thoughts on what your process is with that.
First of all, thanks for calling. You want an answer from me, and I think instead you're gonna have to help me because maybe I'm not thinking about it right. But I enjoyed school. I had a lot of friends there. I liked the teachers. I especially liked all the interaction with the boys and the girls. I mean, I really, really liked friends. I liked playing tag. I liked like getting in trouble. I liked breaking sharpening pencils. I liked addition and subtraction. I'm just thinking like just kindergarten through 5th grade is pretty cool. Even the bully who was like lived in my neighborhood, it was bad, like trying to put snails in your mouth. And there was some, bad shit that happened. Crying, you get home and you're a latchkey kid and your parents aren't home and you're crying. But it was amazing. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah.
But I lived in a different area, like I lived like in the 1st grade, a kid brought a gun to school and we passed it around at the lunch table and the yard duty came over and took it from us and called his dad and he came and got it. You know what I mean? Someone brought a beer to school in the 2nd grade and we all drank it. And then we had to run like a lap around the field because we drank it. I mean, it was,
sure.
I sound like some old fuck. It seems like yesterday, but
I'm 31, so I know we're not in the same. We're a little bit different, but I still lived in a world without cell phones. I teach at a high school, and it's crazy. These kids are attached to it like crazy, and I'm just like, man, I'm kind of torn between. At what point do I pull my kid out of public school? Because I feel like it's wrong as a public school teacher to pull my kid out of school. You know what I'm saying? Because like if the education I'm teaching is good enough for this kid, it better be good enough for my own. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's on one hand, that's like totally fair. The thing is, I think it's okay if you're honest about it. Like this man or lady that's like the health minister. I don't know what the fuck you want to call it, but do you know who I'm talking about? The lady for the United States, Biden appointed it to her. She used to be a man and now she's a woman.
Oh, okay.
And
gotcha. Yeah.
She was head of like health for the state of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Okay.
This dude, I don't know if it was a man or a woman when she did it, but I'll just go with her current sex that she wants us to call her.
I got you.
See how I use the word sex? See how I use the word sex?
I got you.
She pulled her mom out of nursing homes while she put other people in and got them killed. Yeah, now that's some, and then denies that she did it for her mom's safety. She said it's because her mom wanted to be pulled out. Now that's some bullshit. So
I understand.
So like, if you like, I mean, if you can speak honestly about it with a clear conscience and be like, hey, I'm a teacher, I'm doing my best, but like, hey man, I can't have my kids be taught that black people are inferior. Like I can't have my kids being taught black kids are inferior. Cannot have that.
Sure.
I can't have my kids my kids can't go to a school that has a sex flag in the front. The equality flag is the US flag. Someone slapped me around in my Instagram. I was so embarrassed. They're like, hey, dipshit, the equality flag is the American flag. I was like, oh shit. So like, when my kid's 16, we can go to the gay bar and get fucked up. But like when he's 6, not so much.
No. I remember you mentioned that in the podcast. And I think that the unfortunate part, I think the national media gets in these small portions of the country, blow up these huge things. And now everybody's scared that I live in a town of 4,000. I know you probably not know that something that's small, but my point is all these things we're like, so scared of. Thankfully, we're not dealing with a lot of the stuff that a lot of the country may be dealing with so far. So we're kind of saved a little bit from that. We're living in a pretty conservative area.
Yeah.
But I was just curious if, this is because of COVID why you're keeping your kids out or
no,
because.
No.
Okay.
No,
so
no,
it's just
no.
kind of
no.
like, this is my thing. I want to do homeschool and this is where I'm at with my family kind of deal.
No, brother. Like my whole family had COVID. We take zero.
Well, I know you're not scared of it. I was just saying, like, you don't deal with all the nonsense that public school may or
well,
whatever.
I won't put a mask on my kid, obviously. I would never do that. I won't. I already feel bad for my kids. Like, there's a lobby we have to walk through 3 days a week when I take them swimming. And there's a sign there that says wear a mask. And a few times the people who run the pool have told me, hey, put on your mask, buddy. And I just smile at them. I say, okay. And I don't. I mean, I'm only in the lobby for like fucking 8 seconds, right? I'm just passing through.
Yep.
And eventually they don't ask me anymore. But anyway, so my kids, they pull their shirt up over their nose.
Yeah.
And I don't tell them not to do that. I don't tell them to do that. But I'm just thinking like, you fucking dipshits. Like you don't have to do that, but I don't tell them. Like I don't know why they're even doing it. I don't even want to like give it any energy. Like
maybe they don't want to stick out. I mean, you think that's that?
There's never even anyone else in the lobby except the guy who works there. Maybe he's just scared of him. The other day, I know we're way off subject, but the other day we were at we keep going to this same spot at the beach, and we get a sandwich, and my kids skateboard there right on a cliff. And there's this guy there, and he's just a weirdo. He smoked too much weed, and he always says to my kids, do an ollie, do an ollie, do an ollie. And after like 5 or 6 times of him saying that, 5 different trips to the beach, this one guy, he's new there. I'd never seen him before. We've been going there for years. I say to Avi, I said, hey, does that freak you out when that guy says to do an ollie? He goes, yeah. I go, because it seems like you don't want to do it. He goes, I don't. I'm like, well, then why do you do it?
Yeah.
And I go, hey, dude, you can tell him no. I'm right here. He ain't going to say shit to you.
Yeah.
Even though this guy's like 6'4", 250 pounds, and I'm 5'5", 150 pounds.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like, I don't know how kids work. But no, my kids won't go to school. I first of all, they can't get in because they don't. My kids aren't.
The vaccination.
Yeah, they're just, my kids aren't on any drugs.
Yeah.
And like my kids, I'm a totally different breed. Like I'll be sitting somewhere with all the other parents, and the parents are discussing like, how do you keep your kids off of iPads? How do you keep your kids off of screen time?
Yeah.
How do you get your kids to do tennis? And I'm just sitting there like biting the inside of my cheek, like, like
you don't let them do it.
It's like when people are like, how is it that your dog's not fat? I'm like, what the
yeah.
I can't even, I'm not humble enough to answer those questions. I just want to start yelling at them. Feed your dog less. I don't know.
Parents, be parents, please. Yes.
Don't give your kid the iPad.
Yes.
I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I started to show this lady gave a cookie to her child because it woke up crying. I just.
Yeah. Yep. No, it is sad, but hey, I appreciate you taking.
Am I wrong?
Take time for everybody. No, man, I for sure, man. That's the hard part. I deal with like again high school students, and it's like why am I as a teacher being the parent when the parent hasn't been a parent for 15, 17 years? And that's the kind of thing. I think that's why we're at where we're at today. So.
Do you CrossFit?
Yeah, I do. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think that all that shit that Greg wrote in the L1, man, it's like how to do everything.
Yeah.
It's like how to raise your kid, how to treat other people, how to, like, it's just all that in the seminar, how like I mean, how weird is it when you, at least for me at 49, when I used to go to the gym, you don't even look at anyone. Then you go to your L1 and you're cheering people on and you're correcting them and they're correcting you. You're like, what?
Yeah,
so,
cool.
I mean, I think that's just the way. Yeah. My kids can't, and you know, other parents will be like, hey, aren't you worried about your kids not getting socialized? And I'm like, I don't know, masks and staying 6 feet away. And the other kids, I don't know if my kids need that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's the balance I think my wife and I are talking through of just like, okay, is there going to be a point where I pull my kid out of public school, even though I work, you know, and I think we had to just take that situation into account when we get to that place. But
do you live near Mount Vernon?
No, I live an hour and a half south of Chicago.
Okay. And I think Mount Vernon's like 3 hours south
of Chicago.
Yeah.
Could be. I definitely have heard of it, but no, I don't live that close. Is that the guy you had on about a couple weeks ago?
Yes, sir.
The jiu-jitsu guy?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I didn't know he was from Illinois until I listened to the podcast, but yeah, so I looked it up where it was at, and yeah, no, we're pretty far away from that.
How cool is that story?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think YouTube took off the stuff off of the thing you kept advertising. All, you know, and like, oh, watch this on YouTube, and then I can't watch it. I subscribed and everything. So I don't know if you took it off.
So what I think happens is there's this organization. It's called Flow Grappling or Flow Elite.
Yeah.
And they make all the videos. So maybe they put them on and pull them off. I mean, they have to cover their expenses, so they probably just tease us with some. But
gotcha. But
man, it's so cool. It's so. I mean, shit. Why don't you go down there and try to teach those kids something?
Yeah, no, that's a good. I mean, that's just that whole deal and that other podcast you did about those guys out in Hawaii doing that thing. It's just like right close to my heart. Like, there's so much hurting children out there that need help, and young adults, and just I don't know, it just close to my heart. So, well, I appreciate your time, man. I don't want to take all your time, but I know there's probably other people that want to call in. So, appreciate you talking to me. Awesome, man. Thanks. Yep. Talk to you later. Bye.
I'm trying to act all cool, but I'd have kept him on like for another hour. But I'm trying to act all cool, like, yeah, you've taken enough of my time, yeah, because there's so many other people who want to call in. Meanwhile, I would have talked to him until I killed this hour. Tom King, the UK healthcare system is in crisis due to a shortage of nurses and hospital beds. Tom, I'm just going to edit this for a second. The UK healthcare system is in crisis due to the massive amounts of added sugar and refined carbohydrates that the citizens of the UK are pouring into their mouths as fast as they can. Greg Glassman used to tell me that he doesn't think you can be 400 pounds unless you eat with both hands. I thought that was a fascinating observation. Anyway, and due to the fact that there's so many people eating with both hands in the UK, that's the United Kingdom, that you got to cross the Atlantic Ocean to get over there, due east from New York, due to the shortage, due to all these sick people from all the garbage they're putting in their mouth, there now is not enough nurses in hospital beds. Okay. Yes, I edited your shit a little bit. Despite 27% of the beds taken where the primary source is obesity. You have it in there. Shit. We have now increased tax to recover this. I see what you're saying. They're increasing your taxes to cover the shortage of hospital beds. Dude, it's got to be more than 27%. I don't believe it. Maybe it just doesn't fit my narrative. Maybe I'm one of those people, but I don't believe it. Eddie Gifford, the biggest thing missing in today's world is responsible parenting. Correct. There are winners and there are losers. Deal with it and stop encouraging mediocrity. Yep. It's a trip. I didn't say Justin Berg was Justin Berg. I didn't say Josh Bridges. Do you guys know who Justin Berg is? It's the guy I used to work with. He's the he's the second in command of the CrossFit Games under Dave Castro. Did I say Josh Bridges was coming on? No, but I fucked with him. I sent him a link to the podcast, so if he clicked on it, he would just show up and come on the show. But he's a SEAL. He's not gonna fall for that shit. A couple months, I don't know, maybe it's been a year now. I made a video on YouTube, on Instagram, where I talked about leptin. I don't know how many of you guys saw that. Leptin is fascinating. How do I call in from Ireland? I don't know. What do you guys have, a tin can? You pick up the tin can and you hold it to your ear and you just start saying, Sevan. Leptin is fascinating. Basically, leptin is a hormone. And the spirit of what I'm going to tell you is right, but you should go on YouTube and just type in leptin and maybe watch some videos on it. Nothing longer than 10 minutes. You can get the gist of it in 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 minutes. And then you should also type into YouTube leptin and NK cells, natural killer cells. And it's fascinating. But before I talk to you about leptin, I want to tell you something else that's fascinating. The penis. Isn't the penis fascinating? You pee out of it. You defecate out of your penis. Urine leaves your penis. That's like one of its functions, right? And then its other function is to insert into the opposite sex and get them pregnant. You would think, I know you're like, how the fuck is he going to tie this in with leptin? Trust me, I'm going to get to it. Isn't it fascinating? Like you design this creature that the same, it just doesn't seem smart. The tool that you're trying to talk this other person into getting put in them, you'd think that you wouldn't have urine come out of it. But because it's ubiquitous and it's everyone's, they just have to accept it. Like, oh, fuck. No one can be like, nah, I ain't touching your dick. Pee comes out of it. It's like it's everyone's. It's ubiquitous. So like you just have to do it, right? They have to take the dick if they want the dick. And it's just a trip, but it has two purposes, right? One of the purposes is to get rid of urine, and the other purpose is to impregnate the opposite sex. And I don't mean to be closed-minded or to stick in the same sex. I don't to shit. You do something intimate with it. There's a lot of body parts that are like that. There's a lot of functions that are like that. A lot of receptors, cell receptors, a lot of them that have multiple functions that would blow you away. It's fascinating, the human body. But one of the things about a year ago, and I talked about this in my Instagram, and I made a little video. And the reason why I made this video is that I wanted a doctor or a scientist or someone who's some brainiac, some biophysicist to be like, hey, Sevan, you're totally wrong. And I made this and no one said shit. And I sent it to like 10 doctors and they're like, mum's the word. No one would dispute it. And basically it goes like this. When you've eaten enough food in an ideal situation, your fat cells, and I think something in your intestine, maybe it's your intestinal wall, they produce a hormone called leptin. That leptin is then released into your bloodstream, and it should find leptin receptors. And I don't know where those are. I don't know if they're in your hypothalamus. I don't know if they're everywhere. But regardless, you release leptin into your bloodstream, and that leptin tells your body, hey, I'm full. Don't eat anymore. And when you put that leptin into your bloodstream, it creates not a traffic jam, but it's more cars on the freeway, right? And when you eat food, it puts insulin in your bloodstream, and that puts more cars on your freeway, meaning just inside your bloodstream. That's just more shit going on inside of your bloodstream. Anyway, so this leptin's in there, and if you keep eating because you eat sugar and it tastes so good, and you eat refined carbohydrates because it tastes so good, and it overrides the message of your leptin, telling your leptin receptors that you're full, your body will then produce more leptin and more leptin until eventually you'll become leptin resistant. And what does that mean? You have leptin receptors. They're supposed to come in contact with the hormone leptin, and then you stop eating. That would be the ideal way it worked. Well, in this video on Instagram, one of the things I discovered from watching YouTube videos was that the leptin receptor also has another job. Your leptin receptor tells your NK cells, natural killer cells, white blood cells, T cells, that there's what's going on in the bloodstream. So for instance, if you got a virus, your leptin receptor, which you would think would have no relevance. I mean, it's supposed to deal with fat and telling you when you're full. It has this other job. And what's the other job? To tell your NK cells, hey, there's an enemy in the bloodstream. I saw them. I saw a virus in here. Go get them. Shit, someone's calling. This is a good story, right? When your leptin receptors are damaged, then they can't do that. They can't tell your foot soldiers, hey, there's a virus in the bloodstream. You're fucked. Anyway, and I'm just like, well, holy shit, that's the thing. Because your NK cells should have zero problem attacking this virus. Zero. They whoop it. I mean, just start reading about them. They're unstoppable. I think the only thing that we've ever seen really, really that's given them trouble is HIV. Anyway, it's fascinating. And once again, if you eat too much shit, you get obese, you become leptin resistant, you're fucked. Anyway, look into it. Just start watching those videos on YouTube. Hey, what's up, Amelia?
Hey, this is Stephanie. My phone goes under my sister's name. We're on the same thing.
Do you think I shouldn't do that? Do you think that's oh shit, someone else is calling. Stephanie, do you think that's like when someone calls me and I see their name on their phone, I always feel bad. Like maybe I shouldn't say their name. Maybe they want to call anonymously.
Just maybe let them tell you their name or ask their name.
So I should be courteous like that.
I think, well, I've noticed on a lot of your podcasts, a lot of people do have to correct you. So they'll be like, oh, it's my brother's name.
Right.
So a lot of people are on the same cell phone bill as one person.
Yeah, I like it. All I heard is that you listen to a lot of my podcast. I blocked out everything else.
I do. And we DM a lot as well.
Oh, no.
Yes. I'm actually calling.
You're taking up too much of my time.
Well, there was something we were DMing about, and I send you content for your story all the time.
Oh, good. You're a good person.
I don't know if you remember me.
I would probably remember the picture. There's like a core, like 30 of you who are always sending me content. You know what I think it is? I think you guys work for someone who hates me, and it's your way of trying to get me kicked off of Instagram and shadow banned. That's why you guys keep sending me that shit.
No, I love you. You're like one of my favorite followers.
Oh, great.
So I DM'd you one time about the episode where you were going on about Emily Abbott being marriage material.
Ah, yes. Did we get in a fight over
Do you
it?
remember that?
I remember I got into it with a couple people about that. Tell me more.
Oh, really? What did other people have to say? I'm curious.
I don't know. I think it was mostly dudes saying, yeah, she's a sweet piece of ass, stuff like that.
Really?
I think so. But I think,
Okay.
Are you the one? There was someone who was saying like that women want to be both. They want to be sexy and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was
okay.
me.
Refresh me.
Okay. So
is this what you called to talk about? You want to talk about Emily Abbott? Because she's one of my favorite subjects. I'd love to talk about her.
Yeah, and
Okay.
I think she's cute. Okay, I want to preface this by saying a couple things.
Yep.
One is I'm not against Emily Abbott, and I'm not against like hot Instagram models with fake tits, you know?
Okay.
So I don't want it to make it sound like I'm speaking ill of either party.
Right.
The second thing is my girlfriend and I, like my girlfriend, I'm straight. We always have a running joke about how men don't marry beautiful women.
Okay.
They marry more like plain Jane type of women. And so when you said that about Emily Abbott, I kind of put her in that category of more like plain Jane as far as looks. Like I'm not, and this is not me trying to be.
Yeah. I see that. I'm with you. I see her as plain Jane too. Yeah, I'm with you.
And then you were going on about like maybe a hot Instagram model who posts pictures, you know, in her bikini all day, you know, how you wouldn't see them as marriage material. And I just wonder why, because it's like men will marry the Emily Abbott type, and then they'll cheat on their wives for the rest of their lives with like the hot girls. So why don't they just marry the hot girl? I don't get it. Because she could want to be a wife and mom too. Just
You
'cause
could.
she's hot doesn't make her, you know.
You're breaking up kind of bad, but let's break that down a little bit. I hear you. I'm willing to explore that. Well, like, I don't think men or women want to marry someone who like no. I don't think a chick wants to marry the guy who's just going to clubs every night trying to just sleep with women. And I don't think men want to necessarily marry women who are just trolling for cock. And I guess like because we're guys. I mean, do you ever click on these girls' accounts and like, you know, like they have just the hugest, fakest tits and like in every picture is like just they're in bathing suits and then you look and it's like 22 million followers and you're like, holy fuck. Like it just gives you like a crazy reality check. And like they all can't be like this. And then you click another one, it's like 6 million. And then you click some chick who's only got like 600,000 who you think's hot as fuck. And you're like, how does anyone decide? First of all, I don't follow any of those girls unless like I'm like friends with them. And there's only one of those girls that I consider I'm myself friends with. And cause I just think it's bad for your brain. I know I didn't answer your question. You can go ahead.
I have one more thing I want to say about it.
Yeah.
So I looked at Emily's profile and she has pictures of herself. And look, I'm not saying either one is right or wrong. I'm just wondering the male rationale when they look. So there was like pictures of her holding dildos on her profile, which again, I'm not saying is right or wrong. I'm just like, how does a man not look at that? And how is a girl posting pictures in her bikini bad and that not? You know what I'm saying?
Kind of. I just scroll by the dildo photos. For some reason,
right.
I don't like the dildo photos. But I'll tell you this: I have this group of friends, and like these people that I share a ton of content with, and there's this account with these girls, and they talk about their addiction to porn, and like all the guys agree, like, hey, that all that does is like just draw more guys to you. Like all of a sudden, guys are like, oh, these chicks are addicted to porn. How interesting.
Right. So I guess my question is, you still kind of keep beating around the bush, is why do you give a pass for Emily and not the other girls?
I don't know. Maybe it's because we agree. She's more plain Jane. Okay, let me say this. This maybe will get you. This will give you more ammunition against me. Okay, ready? So
no, I don't even want ammunition against you.
Okay, what are you asking? I don't know. I'm just exploring. So there's this picture.
So am I. I'm not attacking you at all.
Okay.
Like at all.
Okay. So there's this picture, and I can't pull it up for some reason but I'm looking at it right now on her Instagram account. I pulled it on my computer. I wish I could share the screen. Let me see if I can share the screen. Share screen and go to Chrome tab and Emily Abbott's Instagram. Let's see if this works. Okay, I think that's. I think you guys can see that. And there's this picture here. Oh yeah, here it goes. And there's this picture here, and my arrow's on it, and it's her topless, and she's got her. I think she's topless, and she's got her hands on her chest, on her boobs, right?
Yeah.
And then if you scroll down a little bit, there's another picture of her, and she's wearing this see-through white outfit. And man, it's just like, she looks so hot. And it's got like this free hippie vibe to it. She's still flirting with like that plain Jane thing we were talking about, right? Now, this is the part that tripped me out, right? I click on that, and like I'm really hoping that that's just like her boyfriend or her girlfriend or something took that with their iPhone, right? But I click on that, and where I start judging her is then I see the guy who took the picture, and that's all he does is just take pictures of girls like half clothed all over the world, right? That's where I started judging her. And like you, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you, I did it. So
yeah, I said, I'm not trying to attack your point of view. It's more of like, it just goes back to the running joke that my girlfriend and I have. We can never figure it out.
Maybe we're scared of the hot chicks.
I think that's what it is. But I also think it's like maybe biological or something that you think. I don't think men think like we want kids or families or anything like that just because we're hot.
Oh, you know, are you like a hot chick? Are you a hot chick?
I think so.
Oh, damn. I should have looked at your profile. Fucked that all up.
You probably have before. We've DM'd enough.
It's crazy. The DMs are crazy. Because there's just too many. I can't look at everyone's profile. You know who I usually look at? I just look at the fat people's profile, like to give them love, or anyone who's doing a weight loss story, or like if like anyone is doing anything that like bettering themselves. So if you were just DMing me or just talking about this, I might not check. But if you were like, oh my God, Sevan, I haven't eaten sugar in a month, I'd go to your profile and just start showering you with love.
Yeah, the hot chicks don't get any love.
No. I think people, Greg used to tell me that, I used to hang with Greg a lot. Greg used to tell me that my wife's Jewish, that Jews breed for intelligence, and that's why they find intelligence sexy. And I'm not insinuating that hot chicks and hot dudes aren't intelligent, but and then you know, there's this thing that there's this thing that I hear talked about a lot, and it's this. I think there's some truth to it. It's hot chicks. No one ever tells them to shut the fuck up. Everyone's just kind of hanging out at the party long enough to see if they can bone them. And so I think that they get some bad behaviors. We train them to do bad things because of our tolerance for them, our lack of being real around them.
That's fair. Yeah, I find it sad because I think beautiful women do have more to contribute generally. Like some of the most sharpest, like smartest, most beautiful, like even naturally beautiful, they're just not plain Jane necessarily. They are all single, but all the like plain Jane, almost insane girls are all married. So it's just kind of funny to me to observe.
I had this girlfriend who was so fucking hot. It was crazy. It was nuts.
And
she was a little bit crazy. She was a little bit crazy, and she was actually, it was only, and I really liked her, but she was a little bit crazy. And right before her period came every month, she would become physically violent. You know what it was like? It was like living with Godzilla. So you love Godzilla. He's dope. But fucking once a month he sneezes and burns your shit down. So if you're with someone who goes batshit crazy like 4 days a month, it takes you like 2 or 3 weeks to recover from that, right? Like you're like, oh shit. Like you're kind of like, you're like, you're on edge. And then as soon as you're like, this is cool, everything's back to normal. Fucking boom, Godzilla sneezes again and burns your shit down. And I just had enough of it. I just couldn't do it anymore.
What would you do if a super hot woman was actually very mentally stable? Would you what's the word? Fetishize? How do you say that? Her. And then if she turned out normal, would it just kind of be like, okay, never mind?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Fetish size, like you want her to be batshit crazy?
Right. Because that's your expectation of, hot women or whatever. But if she turned out to just be like normal, like she checked all the boxes.
I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy. When you're 5'5" and Armenian and like,
but Sevan, you're super attractive.
No, I'm a fucking mole. You listen to me, and so there's something that's triggered you to think I'm attractive. I am not attractive.
No, you are.
Get your fucking eyes checked.
Okay, whatever.
Now you're starting to make me think that you're not attractive. Don't ever call here and say anything nice about me again.
I'll DM you later so you can look at my profile.
All right. But I just like to close this up with I think Emily Abbott's at 10.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, but I also think she's a plain Jane. But I mean, yeah.
Okay.
There were these guys in high school who would say this, and I knew right away it made me different than everyone else. Everyone would talk about their types. Oh, I want a brunette. Oh, I want a redhead. Oh, I want a black chick. Oh, I like whatever. I was like, yo, I just know what I don't want. I know what I don't want. All the others can like welcome. You know what I mean? Like get them lined up. Or how about just one girl? How about just one girl like me?
Oh, please. You talk about having multiple girls all the time.
I had that was my ecstasy days in college. Those were my ecstasy days.
Yeah. Okay. That was fun.
All right. Thanks for calling, Stephanie.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Is this girl trying to pick up on Sevan? God, I hope so. Hi, Nancy, Jake Johnson, Amy, Zachary. I've heard a stand-up comedian joke about guys enabling hot chicks' actions because they were hot. Yeah, that wasn't mine. I think I got that from Adam Carolla when I was a little kid. Oh, you are smart. You are smart. Montana, what's up? Sorry I didn't answer. I was on another call. Montana? Missouri. MO, which one is that? Hello.
Sevan, what up?
What's up? Are you in Montana?
No, Missouri.
Oh, my bad. No wonder you didn't answer when I said, what's up, Montana?
I had to turn down. I'm listening to your podcast right now over speakers. So I had to turn it down.
How should I answer the phone? Like I see name, like, you know how like my phone will tell me who called? Oh, you might have to lower your shit.
I am.
How should I answer the phone? Like, hey, what's up? What's your name? Like, is that how I should answer it? Hey, this is Sevan. What's up? What's your name?
Yeah, what's your name? Where are you from?
Even if I see their name, because like I shouldn't dime people out. Like, what if you were calling to be like, say something crazy, right?
Right.
Okay.
It does show my name?
It says something. There's 2 words. It doesn't look like a name, but it's 2 words. Do you want me to say them?
Yeah.
It says shiplet.
Yeah.
And then another word.
Nick.
Starts with an N.
Nick. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah.
Nicholas.
Nicholas. Yep. That's your name?
Hey. Yeah. Shiplet looks like Shipley with 2 T's.
Yeah, that's
usually what I tell people.
That's a nice name.
Shiplet.
Nicholas Shiplet. That's a very nice name.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate it.
What do you do? What's your vocation?
Missouri. I was the one that
No, not location, vocation. Like, what do you sell real estate?
No, I'm a firefighter actually.
Oh, what a great name. Damn.
Should I get into real estate on the side?
I don't know. I trust that name. Nicholas just seems like an honest name.
I like to consider myself a man of integrity, honesty.
Wow. Do you know anyone else with integrity?
Talking to him.
Thank you. Do you remember learning about the word integrity? Like, do you remember meeting someone for the first time and them having integrity and being like, holy shit?
I mean, I don't know. Other than
I think it was definitely something my dad drilled into my mind was, at the end of the day, if you're a man of integrity, somebody that, they can go to, everything else kind of, I don't know. That was probably the biggest thing my dad taught me, just to be a man of your word. And I think most people know what they're getting when they meet me pretty early on.
Yeah. Yeah. Dave Castro taught me integrity. Dave and my wife. My wife was teaching it to me, but some people you just can't learn a lesson from them.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. You're not her fault, my fault for sure. And then when Dave taught me about integrity that from working with them, then I was like, and at first I thought he was an asshole. And then I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Of course I don't want to admit that that's what integrity is.
Well, you probably had you thought you had a good idea of what it meant. And then he kind of gave you a different perspective and kind of broadened your kind of a wake up call kind of thing. Was that kind of how it was for you?
My parents are really nice.
Yeah.
N-I-C-E, nice. And nice doesn't usually go with integrity is what I'm learning. And but what's fascinating is my wife is nice, but she also has integrity. But Dave is not nice. Not that he's mean. I'm not suggesting that in the slightest, but he's not nice.
Well, he's blunt. He's honest. Sometimes honesty brings up just straightforward, being honest. Just it is what it is what I believe. This is, what I'm sticking to. And sorry, it's not nice, or sorry, it may hurt your feelings. But
yeah,
I think that's what we've gotten away from society. One big thing we've gotten away from, at least, is integrity.
Yeah.
Just being a man, being a woman of your word, and being somebody that within, I don't know, a few days of meeting them, you're confident they know what they're going to get out of you. I think that's a very important thing that we've lost. Being able to trust one another,
Yeah. And
truly trust.
And accept people who, I was tripping on this the other day too. There's people within their families who are like fighting, like over like, my brother didn't pay me back that $1,000 he owed me, or I know I don't know, just fighting among friends, and the demand we put on each other's friendships. Like, so if someone does break your trust and they really are your friend, you can be cool about it. Like you can be honest, you can have an integrity and be honest with them about it if you want to maintain the friendship, right? Like just trying to think of just some examples, but just because someone else is upset or someone else fucks you doesn't mean you have to fuck them.
Yeah, you're not being any different.
No.
Getting even isn't there's no lesson to be learned there, No. Another thing is, like, my parents taught me was don't, if you're going to give, don't expect anything back. Or even if you tell them, I expect to be paid back, don't actually expect it.
Yes.
If you're going to give as a gift.
Yes.
I think you brought that up pretty recently. But
I never loan anyone shit. If you come over to my house and you're like, can I borrow that book? I'll just be like, no. Or you can have it. And then someone will be like, oh, I just want to borrow it. I'm like, I just tell you, I don't lend shit. And unless I think you have enough money in your bank account to buy my car, I don't let you borrow my car. Can I borrow your truck? Let me see your bank account.
I'd say the people that I know with the most, and this is probably pretty, I don't know, it may not be correct, but people with the most money are I don't consider to be the most giving. They're, and that's probably not always, but I've learned, and just not expect just to give out of give from the heart and not expect anything in return, because you're just going to be let down nine times out of 10.
How long have you been a fireman?
6 years.
How many?
6.
Do you guys have one of those things that it's like a forklift for people, like for people who are too heavy to pick up?
No, not a forklift. I actually saw one of those advertisements. I think it was on Instagram. I actually moved from a department in Oklahoma and had buddies we had a little group message and they shared that. I thought it was hilarious. It was probably a stupid amount of money, but we have, we use, stair lifts, like kind of miniature tarps and other stuff to get the big ends out from. The worst is when they get between a toilet and a tub where, you know, nobody should really fit in between. And then you got a 400-pounder that fell off the pot. You got shit and piss and everything in between. It somehow lubed them up between it. That's always fun.
Dude.
That happens way more than you think.
So that's why I asked. So I have a friend who's a fire chief in California. He's some bigwig. Fire chief's above a captain, right?
Yeah, there's multiple chiefs. Is he the fire chief? Like,
I don't know if he's the fire chief
of the department, or is he battalion chief? Or...
I don't know. Chief's
gonna be above a captain now.
Okay,
regardless
and this guy is awesome. Like if I have if you got injured, you want this guy to fucking show up. If your house is on fire, you want this guy to show up. He's my most fucking loving, strongest, most handsome friend. I've known him fucking forever, since college. He used to come. I went to UCSB, and he would come to my class, and I would get out of class, and I was just a barefoot hippie, and he'd be there with his skateboard, and I'd sit on the front, and he'd fucking like kick me all the way home. You know what I mean? I just love this fucking guy. We did everything together for years, right? Oh man, he's so awesome. Anyway, so when the hippie shit started getting like weird for him, like when he's getting like 22 years old, he's like, what the fuck am I going to do with my life? He just bailed and became a fireman. It was so trippy. But anyway, and I stuck with the hippie shit. And so anyway, and I'm still very, very close with him. So he's telling me, and we both, our lives are just, even though we don't live close to each other, our lives just run parallel. We both got into CrossFit together.
Yeah.
We both had kids, got at the same time, marriage, all that. So he says to me, he goes, hey, you'll never guess what the leading cause of fucking injury is in the fire department. And I go, I don't know, training, like during training. He goes, no. And I go, what? He goes, picking up heavy people. I go, what are you talking about? And he goes, when someone falls between, and now you're the second person. He goes, when someone falls between.
He gave the same scenario.
Yeah. He goes, when someone falls between the tub and the toilet, dude, and they weigh 400 pounds, he goes, every time one dude's going down. You get in the most fucked up positions. Someone picks them up and their back goes out. But now he said that almost every firehouse at least in his department has, or no, not almost. He said that every firehouse in his department has one of these machines. It's like a dolly that you would move wine boxes around if you worked in a wine store. And he says they have one, and you just shove it under the dude and then just push a button and it just lifts him up. I don't know how you get that behind the toilet. But.
I just saw that. Like I said, just saw that a couple of weeks ago. Never seen it before. We don't have one of those, unfortunately. That's probably a stupid amount of money.
Dude, it's working its way across the country. They're testing it in California.
No, it's true. People do blow their, especially older guys that probably haven't, definitely never were into CrossFit, but never were taught how to lift properly and, set your back.
I think we're even more susceptible. We're dumbasses. We think, I just deadlifted 200 for a set of 20. I can pick this dude up. And this fucking bar is made to lift up. It hangs out right at our midline.
Exactly.
Then we go to pick up how old are you again?
I'm 29.
Oh, you probably haven't had this happen yet, but there's times you just crush these workouts and then you go to put the fucking plates away and you hurt your back. You're like, what?
Oh no. Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck just happened?
5-10 minutes after a good workout with like deadlifts, anything really that, involves the lower half. And then you go from barbell, which is, like you said, made to lift, and it's even, to maybe picking up a bumper plate and just one side and setting it down. You're like, oh man.
Yeah.
I'm not that old, but yeah, I know what you mean.
What'd you think about it?
It's a lot different picking up a barbell than picking up somebody that's just practically dead weight.
Yeah.
And they're not helping you out. They're not trying to stand up. They're just laying there. And, you're trying to somehow weave your body in there so you can get a good angle to help them up without, causing any more issues. But yeah, definitely, dudes hurt themselves all the time.
Yeah, crazy. How long are you going to be a firefighter for? Are you going to do 20 years?
I plan on it. Just depends kind of on the way the world goes. You know, we've got 5 guys on my truck. All of us are refusing to get the you know what. And my dad's actually a DOD firefighter, fire inspector for Army post, and you know he's a DOD civilian. He has 21 years in the Army, and they're going to be forcing it. So he's kind of having to decide what he wants to do. He's got a cattle farm that he's still having to pay for, and cattle ranch that he's still having to pay for, and trying to figure out if he'd be able to get an exemption of probably religious, but I think the government's going to make it a pretty well impossible to get. You're going to have to go above a board, in front of a board, and I don't know.
You're
kind
like
of crazy. I like to be a career, but I'm not gonna, goes back to the integrity thing. I'm not gonna do something I don't want to do for,
Do you have a wife and kids?
I do. I have a wife and 2 kids, another one on the way.
Fuck,
We're
dude.
big fans of
Fuck,
how
dude.
you raise your kids.
Thank you. That's hardcore, man. That's hardcore. Those of you who
Yeah,
don't
we're-
have
we're-
kids, if you don't put your those of you who are independently wealthy and do not have kids, you better fucking stand up for people like Nicholas.
Yeah.
You fucking pussies. Stand up. You have nothing to lose. Fuck flying again. I don't give a fuck if they never let me fly again.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, I want to go to Italy. That's why I got the fuck off.
If everybody that initially did not want to get it didn't get it, I mean, this wouldn't be an issue, but we got too many people caving
That I know of, even personally. My wife,
I know
RN,
so many too.
she's a nurse, and
The thing is, I excuse someone like you. You got a wife and fucking 2 kids and one on the way. And it's why people like me have to like speak up. It's like, I'm not having any more kids. There's nothing anyone can do to me. There's nothing there's nothing anyone can do to me. I have, if shit got really weird, I would just raise rabbits and chickens and eat them. Like,
well, that's why we moved here to Missouri. We bought acreage. We're gonna we wanted to kind of have the homestead and go back to chickens and eggs and making our own butter. And
would you eat rabbits?
do it. I don't think I've actually ever had a rabbit. I've never killed one and ate it myself, but I would if I had to.
Yeah, one of my friends is talking about what the fuck is this? Oh, one of my friends is talking about raising rabbits, and I was like, if someone had told me that 10 years ago, I'm like, fuck off. But now, in these times, I'm just like, yeah, sounds great. Hook me up. I'll buy 10. You know what I mean? Package that
kidding.
shit up.
We looked into buying property and just kind of, slowing life down. And I think, the Rona happened and all that, and just further verified what, the life we wanted to live. It's like, yeah, let's do this thing. So,
hey, brother, I gotta take this call.
You're good, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for everything you're doing, man.
Yeah, it's the TDC. It's gonna be good for the ratings.
Oh, sounds good. Go for
Talk
it.
to you later, Nicholas.
Thanks
Bye.
again. See you.
Hey,
What's this number?
you're live. You're live on the show right now. I kicked off another caller so you could call in. How's it going?
What's the show?
It's the Sevan Podcast. You've been a guest before. Don't act like that.
You sound all official. Like it sounds like you have like a Howard Stern radio, like a headset on.
Yeah, I do. Like I'm using like a fake voice. Like I'm not talking to you with my regular voice.
No, you're using your voice, but the equipment. It sounds like you have an upgrade in the core, like a radio setup, like a Rogan setup or something.
Hey, this ain't the CrossFit podcast. This shit is fucking the real deal.
How do I sound?
You sound great. You sound like a caller. You sound like a wealthy man in his mid 40s, living the dream in Steinbeck country.
How you? Who else is on the call?
No one. So basically, Guy was supposed to be on the show today, and he called and said that he needs to move it to Sunday. So then I was like, fuck it. I'm going to do and I make this list of things that I want to talk about throughout the week.
Okay.
That like things that might come up. So then, you know, like things I get on my high horse about, like how to raise kids.
So are we live right now?
Yeah, we are. You want to take some calls?
Who'd you kick off to get me on?
Some guy's a firefighter from Missouri, Nicholas something.
Hey Nick, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to get you kicked off. So
he's a firefighter, 29-year-old firefighter from Missouri. 2 kids, wife's pregnant.
Ask me what I'm doing.
What are you doing? You're driving. What are you doing?
650 miles in to my drive. Left this morning at 6:20, and I'll hit the 1,000-mile mark by 9:30, I think. So I'm about to pass through Flagstaff, and then I'm going to keep pushing through for another few hundred miles and end up in Albuquerque.
And what are you doing in Albuquerque?
I'll spend the night in Albuquerque, and then the next day I drive a couple hours east into New Mexico, further into New Mexico, and there's a shooting competition that I'm heading out to this weekend.
No shit.
Yeah, yep.
Why not fly, Dave?
I really thought about flying, and when I was planning this trip, a couple of things were going on. I was planning it about a month ago, and I was like, well, you know, I got to take a lot of equipment, so that's one big negative. I'd have to send ammo out, which I've sent ammo places before and never seen it. And everything with, at the time, I was like, everything with the airlines is so fucked up and travel's so hard and the fucking regulations and all the requirements. And I was like, you know what? I never do this. I'm just going to take this as an opportunity to kind of just get on the road and I want to say clear my mind or just enjoy a drive. And then, of course, instead of enjoying the drive, I make it into this massive 1,000-mile push, which I am actually enjoying. But all that being said, if I were to fly, that was the route I would have taken, I would have used Southwest because that's who flies from my area to Albuquerque. And that, if you've been following what's going on, that's a complete shit show. So
yeah, bad weather conditions. There's some bad weather conditions that have downed their planes.
Yes, exactly. So blame it on the weather. So so far I'm happy. And anyway, so back to the gear, and I'm traveling with way more stuff than I'm traveling with everything I want to travel with, and I could have never flown with that much stuff. So this is not going to be a regular thing for shooting matches. I'll probably do this once, maybe twice a year. I generally speaking also don't like to travel for matches. I was traveling a fuck ton years ago for shooting matches, and then this tipping point hit. And fundamentally, the tipping point was, well, with CrossFit and all the travel I was doing, it was really hard. But then, interestingly, you'll like this. When Tony Budding quit, I was like, fuck. Like, the game shit just really even more so was falling on my shoulders. And I was like, all right, I got to just cut back from traveling so much for shooting competitions. That did, like, traveling for CrossFit, it always is like, that's there. But when Tony quit, that was when I decided, all right, this idea of traveling across the country on a regular basis to shoot is going to end with that. And it did. And it did up until about a year and a half ago. Like once or twice a year, I'll now travel for some long-range team competition. And so at least for a team competition, it's for the greater good. I'm not just doing it for an individual pursuit. So that's kind of how I justify it.
How many days is the competition?
It's 3 days.
Okay, because I was going to, it's pretty gnarly. And then when it's over, are you driving straight back or are you stopping somewhere?
Well, I'll leave there. I am driving back. I was thinking about maybe passing through Vegas and trying to hit Vegas for an evening. Not like a party or anything, but just as a stopping point on the way back. I don't know if I'll do that. But so it's going to end Sunday night, and I will definitely hit the road as soon as it's Sunday afternoon, as soon as it's over, and try to get as far as I can down the road. Stop where I need to stop, take a break, and then head the rest of the way. Now that I've done 1,000, I know like anything less than that on the final day, basically on the Monday, will be easy.
Are you going to work out during these 5 days, 2 days of travel and 3 days of shooting?
So my workout routine is the following, and this is a new thing for me. So when I started CrossFit 16, 17 years ago, I've always been a religious 3-on-1-off guy, following main site, and even when I was programming for myself, or I never really followed anyone else's program. So it's either main site or my own programming, 3-on-1-off, 3-on-1-off. No matter what, 3-on-1-off. But then a few months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try something different. It's something I don't think we teach anymore in the level 1 lectures. It's nothing groundbreaking either, but I'm just sharing with you. We used to teach in the level 1 lectures, and it's what a lot of affiliate gyms do and a lot of individuals do. It's basically 3-on-1-off, 2-on-1-off, repeat. And so basically what that looks like is it's Monday through Wednesday I train, Thursday I take off, Friday, Saturday I train again, Sunday I take off. And here's why I went that route. 2 reasons. That additional rest day, or that 2-day cycle with the rest day, for me mentally is huge. I feel like the 3-on-1-off, 3-on-1-off over and over and over, it becomes a drag. And I kind of I like the breakup of knowing, okay, I can go hard for 3, have 1 off, then I have 2 more workouts before I get another rest. So that additional rest in a condensed cycle, for me mentally, is huge. It's interesting because when you lay that out across over a month and you compare it to the 3-on-1-off schedule, it's only like 1 day extra of rest a month, but still it's something I like. And then the other aspect I like a lot of it is the fixed nature of it. So I always know now what I'm like. When I was doing 3-on-1-off, I'd lose track. Like, well, am I on my second day? Am I on my third day? Is it my rest day? Now I just know by day of week what I'm supposed to be doing. So by that rationale, today's a training day. I'm going to get to hotel at 9:50. I probably won't train. I was thinking of potentially hitting up an affiliate tomorrow in Albuquerque, even though Thursday is my rest day. This then becomes my rest day. And then probably during the match, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There'll be a lot of hiking, a lot of carrying gear. I probably won't work out, but I'll just consider that the exercise and the workout.
So you said that you did this because you thought it was too much of a beat down, 3-on-1-off at however old you are, 40-something years old. And he's gone. And he's back.
I dropped you for a second.
And you switched to those days just because you felt like it was a beat down because you were getting older, but really it's only just 1 more day of rest a month.
Well, the 2-day. Hold on. Are you hearing when my Bluetooth or my nav kicks in? I'm going to shut it down.
No, we're not. We don't hear your nav.
Okay, I just shut it off. It was a beat down. I mean, that's a bit extreme, but I did feel like it was a lot. But like knowing I'm entering a 2-day cycle, so if I go into a 2-day cycle sore or kind of fatigued, let's call it, I know I can program those days or take those days kind of easy. If I go into those days fresh, that's exciting because the first Thursday or on Friday, I'll hit hard. And if I still feel pretty good, I know I can drive Saturday pretty hard because then I have Sunday off. So, but the 2-on or the 1-off, 2-on-1-off of this new cycle mentally for me is a really cool place to be. But I've also structured week more, and that's just going to keep ramping up because of another competition I'm doing in January.
What have you been listening to this whole drive? Just a bunch of my old podcasts, like just listening to Sevan Podcast the whole way?
Yeah, and thanks for sending me the links to all of those.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No, I've been listening to Marxism, Philosophy and Economics by Thomas Sowell.
Oh shit, how is it?
It's good. It's fucking sick. I mean, it's a little like I feel my mind drifting at times because it's pretty deep. So there's some stuff I'm taking from it, but it's a good listen, and it's taking up a lot of time. So I listen to that most of the time. I've done a handful of calls, work-related calls, and then listen a little bit to the news, and then back to that. Listen to a little bit of music, but not a lot of music.
Hey, what else? Have you read anything else by Thomas Sowell? Like any books? I don't mean just like essays.
No.
No, okay.
No, I have not.
Are you digging them?
Yeah, it's this one's thick though. Like I said, it's heady. It's probably above my primitive intellect.
I'm trying to remember. There's one race. It's called Race Theory or Rhetoric or something. But anyway, it's not heady. It's so awesome though. It's historical, and then a lot of it's just historical shit. It's really, really cool. It's really, really cool. All right. Well, thanks for checking in. I'm glad you called. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, I mean,
good luck in the
I don't
comp.
think you asked me any questions. Ask me a question.
How many events will be in this year's games?
That's a great question. I have an idea, but I'm not going to obviously tell you, and I'm not going to lock into that concept. It'll be different. There'll be some changes. There's going to be very likely a different look, very different from last year, maybe not different from other years. I don't want to give up too much, but
what do you mean? Like you're going to have the men in the women's clothes and the women in the men's clothes when you say different look?
Yeah. Potentially. Let's take a caller. How about that?
Fine. Someone call in. Dave, are you, until they call in, are you next year, are you going to do check-in with me every night like you did this year? How did that go for you? Did you like doing that?
I'm not going to commit to it at this time. It depends where our relationship is and where your relationship is in regard to the CrossFit. So I'll reassess it in due time.
Is that your way of just making sure that I don't say anything stupid?
Dangling that over you?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Are the games, what were the most expensive games ever to put on? Which year? Do they get more expensive?
No, they don't get more. They necessarily shouldn't get more expensive. Sometimes they do, but I'd have to dig it.
You'd have to what? You'd have to what?
You there?
Yeah, what did you say? You'd have to what?
I'd have to dig into the numbers on that.
What do you think about the criticism you've been getting? Like, you know, there's people who are like, fuck Ricky. There are people like, oh, glad Ricky's back. And then there's kind of like this middle ground, like, okay, who gives a shit if he's coming back or not? Why is CrossFit and Dave, why are they giving him attention?
I mean, it's the sport of it, right? Why are we giving him attention? I'll tell you exactly why we're giving him attention. He finished second in his only games ever. And since then, he got busted for steroids at those games. And then since then, and here's what impressed me the most with him, didn't fucking walk away from the gym, from CrossFit or the community. Kept engaging, kept doing the workouts, did the open, posted his time, posted his scores, and for the next 4 years, just fucking took it on the chin,
I lost them. Fuck, I got greedy. You guys know what I tried to do? I tried to patch in another caller while sorry, Jason. I tried to patch you in while Dave was calling. Shit, I fucked that all up. Hold on. Hey.
Sorry about that.
No, that was all my fault. I tried to take a caller while you're talking. Hey, I'm going to send you a link. Will you click the link? And that way someone can call in and ask you. It was someone calling in with a question, but they can't call in when I'm talking to you. So I'm going to send you this link and and you can either use the video or not, but it'll allow me to talk to you. Then it'll free up the phone line.
Okay. I probably won't use the video because I'm driving, or should I? Or
No. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. I'll send it to you. You decide. I'll tell you if you look good or not.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, let's try this. This is fucking actually kind of cool because I've been wanting to try this for a while now. Let's see if I can do this. I'll send Dave this link. Bam. And then Jason, what's up? Oh, sorry. Hold on. What's up,
Yep.
brother? Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
This is good. This is like we're running a test right here with 64 people watching. I got you on the line. I sent Dave a link to the actual show, to the streaming, and let's see. Let's see if he's gonna click it and he'll pop on. Did you have a question for him?
Yeah, I got 2 or 3.
Oh, good. You can talk to him while I take a piss. Oh. Hey, are you watching the video today on YouTube, Jason?
Yeah, man.
Did you know I moved my desk? Can you tell the background looks a little different?
I thought
It's so
that was
subtle.
one of your many locations.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, here we go. Add to the stream. There he is. Bam.
All right, let's do it. So we're talking about Ricky. Can you hear me?
With the light, it's not ideal for the lighting. No, I'm joking.
Okay.
I'm joking. Oh yeah. Okay. Jason Watkins on with Dave Castro. Jason, what's your question? Try not to be
Why did
racist,
you-
homophobic, or sexist. Thank you.
I'll give you the first one. Why did you stop naming the event?
Oh.
You used to give them cool names, and now you just give them numbers.
Good one.
Yeah. That's a great question. So I'll tell you why I stopped naming the events. We were like the king of naming events, and we put a lot of time and effort and had a lot of fun with it. And then this year I went to a bunch of the semifinal events, and I just look across at some of the other events, and everyone names their events, and everyone uses stuff like people use some fucking stupid names. And I just kind of got turned off by the whole naming convention. And I was watching some of these and just like, nope, done. We're not going to, this year, we're going to go away from naming. Because I looked at other named events and I thought, well, that doesn't make sense or that sounds dumb. And then I was like, well, fuck, people think that about mine at times too. And I'm like, all right, for this year, we're just going to take a break. Every single one of those, though, had like a cool name or like had something that we could have used, but it was more of a statement. Let's just go. And the other thing to that point is they all do have numbers for like as long for the number of years we've been doing this. The name was in addition to the numbers. This year, I just said, all right, it's just going to be the number, and let's ignore the name. So it's just a stylistic thing. We'll probably go back to it eventually, but for this year, we did not.
Bam.
Cool.
Yeah, I didn't think it was permanent. How about next year, Dave? Sorry, Jason, I don't mean to hijack it. You think you're going to go back to naming them next year?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to commit to anything. You know how I am.
Yeah, I know. I know how you are.
I got another one for you, and this one's a little bit more tender. So at the end of the game, you announced Medeiros as the this year's CrossFit champion and not the fittest man on earth. Did you do that on purpose?
No, not that one. I didn't do that one on purpose. I did announce Tia Claire as the most dominant athlete ever. That was very deliberate. But what you're saying about Medeiros, no, that wasn't intentional. Like, I wasn't thinking he's not the fittest on earth or anything like that. But for Tia, I did announce her as the most dominant, and that was because she now has the most individual wins ever of any athlete. And that's where that came from. But good question.
I thought I was going to catch you.
The Medeiros thing wasn't meant to be a
Good questions,
Good.
Jason.
Yeah, man.
something
I got some more, but I don't want to hog all
No,
the time.
no.
like it.
Go on, Jason. Give us another one. If
I'm gonna fuck with you on this one.
Hey, get him.
I mean, it's for you, Sevan,
Oh
but
shit.
also for Dave. So, have you guys ever
Oh.
considered changing the scoring system to more of a statistical base around like Z-score and stuff like that?
Oh, Dave, you're breaking up pretty bad. You got to start over.
Around what?
You broke up pretty bad. Can you start over? Did you hear the question?
Hold on, I'm gonna kill my camera. Okay.
Okay. Jason, go one more time.
Okay, Dave, can you hear me?
I think he's somewhere like pretty desolate.
And
Where did he say he was headed to? I wasn't Arizona, Albuquerque,
So he
New
said New
Mexico.
Mexico, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they have self-service in the state of New Mexico. You got like one tower in the corner of the state.
I'm in Alabama. We got like one tower in the whole state.
Hey,
So
have you ever talked to Dave before? Is this the first time?
Can you hear me
that's
now?
the first time.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. How's your experience so far with talking to him?
It's cool. Dave reminds me, like, my brother's a welder, and he used to travel all the time, and he would call, and he would just go and talk when he would get on the road for a long time. And so that's like, Dave kind of reminds me of that right now.
Hey, that is really weird of him, by the way. That is not the Dave I know. The show we did a podcast, a quick one where he gave his opinion on who's going to win the fights. And then what he was doing just now when he called, that is like so rare. He is a man of few words. It's so weird for me to hear him talk so much. I'm serious.
All right,
it's
I'm
really
back.
weird.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. Okay, go ahead. So ask the question again, Jason.
Okay, so have you guys ever considered changing the scoring system to a more statistical model?
Well, what do you mean by that? Elaborate.
So the distance between you and the next competitor and the overall average of the group would come into consideration.
Yeah. So like more like a pays to be a winner. Even our model kind of has a little, it rewards winners, but by points. Like, so you're saying if the whole field did a 4-minute Fran, but the winner did a 2-minute Fran, he's 2 minutes ahead of the next guy and proportionally allotting more points to him relative than to everyone else. We've talked about that. Yeah, we have talked about it. We haven't committed to it. Obviously, we haven't used it, but there's discussions of it. Our team does look at a lot of different scoring options. It does look like at different ways of doing it. But so to answer your question, yes, we've looked into it. We've thought about it for a variety of reasons. We've not done it. And will we go there in the future? With this field, I don't know. With this many people, I don't know. And here's one of the problems with it, I believe. So you take some of these outlier events like the swim or the paddle, and someone who's really good at let's just say a swim, not even the paddle, but a swim. Some of these people who are like collegiate or semi, Olympic swimmers like Yonakoski, he could pull away so far on that in regards to everyone else and bank so much extra percentage points or points because of the way that's scored. Whereas on the CrossFit workouts, he's like them or lower. And so he ends up performing not great on the CrossFit or average on the CrossFit, but because of one workout like that, where he had such an advantage because he grew up swimming relative to everyone else, and he got so many points because he dusted everyone else, it might skew the scoring overall and create a result that isn't actually indicative of finding the fittest alive.
Don't you think that's a bit short-sighted, though? Consider, he's going to do that the first year, and then the second year, everybody's going to realize, hey, if I just get really good at swimming, I can bank up a ton of points, and then it evens out and makes the sport grow.
No, I don't think it's short-sighted. And here's the other piece to your idea. Nobody is going to catch in 1 year is going to close the gap on someone like Yonakoski who swam his entire life. And that's the fact with swimming. When you look at, I paid because I obviously swam in the Navy and I still swim now a lot. And I like swimming and I like the sport of it. And like the difference between someone, and I'll consider myself someone who started swimming as an adult. I didn't. I started swimming. I mean, I knew how to swim as a kid, but I took it serious once I decided I wanted to enlist in the Navy around 17 or 18. And the difference between someone like myself or these games athletes and someone who, I was just talking with Nicole Christensen about this actually, who spent their entire childhood or middle school or high school going to the pool every morning at 5 a.m. and swimming for 3 hours and having a decade of that is massive. And so nobody without swimming background is going to close the gap on someone like Yonakoski or some of these other really good swimmers who have that extensive background, because their experience level and their time under tension, call it, with the rule of 10,000 hours or whatever you want to call it, is so massive. The bank they have underneath them, it's just so far ahead of everyone else.
So I'm not like trying to go after you. I'm just pushing back on the idea. So what I'm hearing is you want to disincentivize people to be outliers, and you only want them to be like Matt.
No, I don't want to disincentivize. So there's going to be that workout still is has an outlier like performance to it, and even in that win, he gets a few more points than he would if he was fourth or fifth. Meaning, like, there's some separation in the point scale. I also don't think you're trying to argue with me at all, so don't worry about that. And but I don't like
that went over my head. Is that
just
sarcasm?
because I'm making
Losing him again.
We lost you, Dave.
That
We lost
doesn't
you, Dave.
mean I'm trying to disincentivize outliers. Who, me or him?
We lost you, but you're back.
You guys still there? Or am I breaking
Yeah.
up?
No, you were breaking up, but now you're back. Can you hear me?
Do you guys hear me now?
For those of you just tuned in, we're on with Jason Watkins. He's a caller, and Dave Castro, and Dave's
Can you hear me
driving to a shooting competition. He's somewhere in New Mexico, and his signal just broke up.
Yeah, so no, I don't have a problem. So the outlier wins. Yeah, now I can hear you. So the outlier, his outlier performance in that set event. Like, so take
Damn.
Man, this is so good. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
I know. I was just thinking of how crazy it is that you just call in, and I had no idea Dave was going to call in today. I think I did know. I knew he was having some shooting competition, but it's fucking crazy cool that he called in. I'm ecstatic. And the fact that someone else got to call in and talk to him. Should I just hang up on Dave now? Dave, what the fuck, dude?
He's just going off, and
Can you hear me?
only him.
We want to hear you. We want to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Should I go?
Yeah, go talk. Yep. No, don't hang up. Keep talking. Oh shit. Bye-bye. And he's gone. Hey.
Damn, I really wanted to hear the answer to that.
Yeah, he's such a good listener too, and words really mean stuff to him too. So like when I just like it how when you asked him a question and then he wanted some shit defined before he answered it. He's so good and so thorough. I got a question for you though. Why does game scoring interest you? Like, it interests me none.
It's got to do with the type. So I always saw it as like, it wasn't in football. You have different types of athletes, right? You got running backs, the skinny, like powerful guys. They're really fast. And then you got fat guys up front that like have a whole different type of power. They have more weight. They play a totally different game. CrossFit really only like, if you want to be the best, and Sikowski has proven me wrong on this, but if you want to be the best, you basically have to almost perform exactly like Matt Frazier. Whereas in my model, if you're a good swimmer, a semi-good weightlifter, you can be biased towards a couple of things and still be at the top. Whereas with our
what do you mean? Give me an example. Give me an
one.
example. The swimming is are you saying like you can be good at freestyle and be shitty at the breaststroke, or like, what do you mean by that? Like, doesn't a swimmer have to just be epic at their shit?
Yeah. But like, so in our system, not only do you have to be a great weightlifter, you have to be a good swimmer. You have to be good at everything. You can't suck at anything. And so with this, so number one, you could be not great at a couple things. And we saw that with Rich. And I think that's why we loved Rich so much, is because he would get a 35th place every year and then battle back. I think that's why people didn't gravitate towards Matt the same way that they gravitated towards Rich, is because Rich would crawl out of a hole every single year and show that he was the best.
His body didn't hurt. His body didn't hurt either.
What do you mean?
Just he has fucking an amazing body. He looks like he looks fake. He looks like a drawing from 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 Greek mythology. Sorry, I don't mean to detract you.
It's okay.
I'm just an aesthetic whore. I just love good bodies. Go on.
He's got the best pecs in the game.
Yeah.
So if you go step one, you can kind of get my argument. Like, you can be a really good swimmer, a really good weightlifter, but you might suck at gymnastics and still do good at the games. If we incentivize that, step two is all of a sudden people are like, well, I'm a good swimmer, so I'm going to get really good at swimming because I know I can get more points there. I can lose some on the gymnastics stuff. And then the bar goes higher and higher in each of these individual things: strength, aerobic capacity, swimming, gymnastics. You can have these specialists, and then the sport as a whole grows, because like it kind of feels stagnant. We've been doing a lot of the same movements for a while now. Does that make sense?
No, sum it up for me in one sentence. You're saying that we should give more. We should incentivize people to be more specialists to see what we can get out of it.
You still are going to have to be a generalist,
of course.
But yes, being specialized will be okay. You'll be paid for being a specialist, so to speak. And if every second counts, then we need to make every second count.
Yeah, wasn't that was an amazing way to do the games that one year, even though everything was like in the 4-minute time domain. You know something I always wanted to see at the games? I just wanted to see, and maybe it's just fucked up, but I always just wanted to see the mile.
A 1 mile run?
Yeah, and I understand why they'll probably never do it.
Why do you want to see it?
Because it kind of puts everything. It's such a for me, it just seems like such a classic. It's like, that's the mark, right? Like, how fast everyone kind of knows their mile time. Like, even if you're 70, you remember your mile time in grade school, and it's so fucking hard. But if we find out that, like, if we have CrossFitters run the mile at the games and everyone breaks the 5-minute mark, and I'm not suggesting they do, it's just crazy, right? I mean, it becomes just like mind boggling. But I mean, you could ruin people doing something like that. That could just be bad programming, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we saw that, like, I think a lot of the grid stuff was a little bit like over-programmed, kind of aggressive, and a lot of the grid athletes burn out eventually. Or did you ever watch that?
I didn't, but I did sort of start getting more interested in grid when I saw that they were doing kid stuff. It makes me a little anxious, like, to put kids in that setting, but I just like anything that's helping kids, like, not put on 29 pounds.
Grid's a good example for specialists, actually, because they're doing things that are just like off the wall crazy. They're taking the CrossFitters that couldn't really hang in CrossFit. A lot of them can, but couldn't really hang in CrossFit, but they're really good at a couple things. And then you're seeing crazy performances in grid.
Jason, where are you? Where do you live? Is Grid Is Grid still around? Before I wrap that up, they are still around, right? They're in Florida.
It's only in Florida. Yeah. I think North Carolina has a team as well. I know a few guys that do it.
And where do you watch that?
You can go to the
YouTube?
Florida Grid League website. Yeah. And YouTube.
All right. Maybe I'll do that. I should contact those guys and see if I can get someone who's like part of that organization on my show. I'd be curious. Like,
I got a couple guys.
Is there a CEO? Is there like an owner of the Grid League?
Yeah. He's got like dreads. He's kind of crazy looking.
I'd love to hear the history of the Grid League and like what their because I was inside of CrossFit HQ when that happened, and it was kind of crazy.
Was the head of that, right?
Who?
Budding. I
think Tony. I need to fucking. Now that you've said it, maybe my brain will start bringing some of that stuff to the forefront. I think Tony worked at CrossFit. He had some disputes with Greg that were valid. Around just money and ownership of the company, and just
were valid.
Yeah, they were valid. I mean, like Tony was a massive contributor. As much as me and him butted heads, like he was a Formula One race car, man. That motherfucker could go, and everyone there could, but he definitely held his weight, and he was amazing. And so he said basically like, all right, eat a dick, I'm out, and I don't like the way this is being shaken out for everyone. So I think he started the Grid League. He found
From what
investors. I think that's how it happened. Tell me, go ahead.
But
I'd love to hear this guy's perspective, this other guy's perspective. And Dave and Tony were very close. Dave and Tony and Nicole were very close. I don't care what they say, even though they probably would agree with me, but if they don't, they're lying. And they were very close. And I was the fourth wheel. Or I think it's supposed to be the third wheel. I came on the scene and it was a little weird. And then I started cozying up with Greg. And then when Tony fell out, it kind of made room for me to squeeze in. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I could fuck the boss more because one of the mistresses dropped off. Go ahead.
It's sort of funny. I've been around CrossFit now since 2012, so I'm not an OG, but like starting to get up there, and people ask me all the time, like, why is Dave the person? The games person. And I think it's funny that they don't know. And then like if you brought up Tony Budding's name, they wouldn't know at all. Most people now. So it's weird. Like we need historians like Brian at this point.
There's two things that people really need to just sit down and eat a big old dose of humble pie. There's people who say shit like, and I've gone off on this before, Jason, and I apologize, you've probably heard it, but people who will say stuff like, hey, Dave Castro is not professional, or it's not cool that he does this, or it's not cool that he does that. You need to really stop and bite your tongue and realize that it's you who don't know what professional is. It's you who has a misunderstanding. You think Coca-Cola, Pfizer, the president of the United States, you think Tom Shoes, whatever. You think McDonald's, you think those people are professional? No. You're actually seeing someone who believes in integrity, and in his previous career, his decisions mattered between life and death. He is actually the consummate professional. He is professional. There's nothing else. He's 100% focused on the fucking task. He don't give a fuck about your feelings. What would your feelings have anything to do with how well the games run? Everything from how beautiful the parking lot is, to how the athletes are treated, to how the scoring is, to it's safe, everything. He don't give a fuck about anything else. And so when people critique that, and then on top of that, you should be happy if you hate him. You would be so bummed if it was some fucking tool who is running the games. We have this fucking hard-nosed SEAL Team 6. This motherfucker was in the SEALs at the top of his game, and he put it all on the line to try to go to the next level. Those guys who are 6, those guys who are part of Dev Group, those guys who do that, they have to fucking put their ass on the line. It's like imagine going to the Olympics and saying, then that's not enough, you want to go higher. That's what these fuckers did. Oh man, someone's trying to call in. Jason, do I keep you on or take on the new caller?
It's up to you, boss.
Or keep you on. Sorry, Jacob. Sorry, Jacob. Sorry, Jacob.
Sorry, Jacob.
So it just like how cool is it that our sport has this fucking the only professional guy in fucking corporate American business, and maybe I give Dana White some love too. And then on top of that, this motherfucker like was a SEAL Team 6. I don't want some fucking pansy fucking programming the fucking games. Fuck you. I want it to be Dave Castro. I want it to be the guy who's wearing the fucking gay pride shirt at the question. But when someone asks him a question that's inappropriate, he says, fuck you. Like, do you know that incident I'm referring to?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's like, fuck off.
You don't have to answer people's questions just because they ask them.
No, I'm already wearing the shirt. Eat a dick. Sorry, I promised myself I wouldn't get aggressive on the show. He's just so amazing. And it's nuts to me that people can't see it because they're caught up in their own fucking preconceived notions. I love him. He's dope. And I have problems with, don't think it's like all fucking like roses and shit. Like we brawled when I worked there. We brawled, but he always brawled with integrity. Always brawled with integrity.
What I get bored of asking, like people asking Dave all the CrossFit questions, and you want to ask something like, I have this list of questions for people that I might never meet, but if I do, I want to ask them questions that people haven't asked them. It's like a sin to me to go into a store and they're ringing you up and something won't ring up. And you use the cliche like, oh, I guess it's free because it won't ring up. You know, all those things people say just because they feel weird in the situation.
Yep.
I don't want to ask those questions.
Right.
Like, life's too short to ask the same question that everybody, that stupid dad joke that everybody else has made.
Yeah.
And so,
especially if you have Dave on the phone.
Yeah. I wanted to ask Dave something sort of personal, but not too personal. The thing that I keep wondering about with him is, I was listening to this guy, Steve Ranella. He's a famous hunter. He does the show Meat Eater. It's on Netflix now, but it was a Discovery Channel show for a long time. And he was talking about working in the show business, and he hunts. He's a Second Amendment advocate. He's like the opposite of what's happening in all that right now. And he's like, I keep wondering like when they're gonna like. He was like, I feel like I'm behind enemy lines. You know, he's like, I kind of have to hide out and like, but I can't hide out because I got to be me in the show. And I feel like Dave has to play that game. And I don't know. I know I can't ask him that question because if I do, he can't really answer it.
I can't ask him that question.
Why can't you ask him that question? I notice you don't ask questions sometimes that I think that you could.
Yeah, because it's a good question. I think whether I know the answers to that's boy, you brought up something really interesting about interviewing people. When I interview people I know, I try not to use insider information in the interview. So, I'm trying to think of something a little more benign to bring up, but I can't be.
Well, if you know some shit on Rich that's going on behind the scenes, like whatever was going on between him and that short-haired dude that was on his team a long time ago. There was some bullshit happened there, and you didn't ask about it.
I mean, sometimes I might. I think that I think a very small percentage of the time I'm so scared I don't ask a question, but usually those are all the questions I ask. I don't know who you're referencing on his team that he's having problems with.
I can't remember. Matt Hewitt. But
it's like this. If I was friends with you and I knew that, it's like I'm not friends with Ricky Gerard, so I could ask all the questions I want about, you know, his steroid use, his comeback, his relationship with Benny. Like, it would be so fun for me to talk to him. You know what I mean? Like, I could ask him just like shit like, hey, should I do it? Should I be concerned about my prostate? You know what I mean? I'd be more interested in like stuff like that. But if I knew him, I don't think I could do that. Like if I had been at his gym while he was taking it and I was just trying to play stupid, you know what I mean? I know so much about CrossFit. It's the same thing. I'm very careful. I try to be very careful when I have Hobart and Caden on the show too. It's just, I don't want to use my insider information in interviews. Here's the thing. Stephanie, did you see the interview I did with Stephanie Cohen?
Yeah, it was amazing.
Okay. I wanted to ask her about her. I wanted to ask her about her tits. I wanted to ask her about, I think that those are breast implants. And that was a question that I was just too scared to ask. Like because I read.
That's a you question though.
I know. Maybe I know. Maybe like, I know. I let you down. Sorry. I let you down. but I'm just curious, like, hey, how does that affect her performance? She's a boxer. Those are extra weight. Why would you do that to yourself? Is it true that it's hard to breathe with bolted on titties? Like, so sometimes I just don't ask because I'm scared, too scared, or scared might not be the right word.
So it feels like, would you do it if it was just you and her instead of being online?
Yeah, probably for sure. Yes. So
the difference is people are watching.
Yeah, and usually I'm pretty good about that, and I think that's why people want to listen because I'm willing to ask that. But I would have tried to. I try usually to wait till someone opens something up, and so like going back to what you said about Dave. Dave is juggling of walking a fine line between being himself and appeasing corporate America, appeasing the woke crowd. That's what I heard you say. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think except for all, I think that there's a bunch of people like that now. Unfortunately, not enough. But and Greg didn't give a fuck at all. And that's what was so amazing about CrossFit Inc. Greg was just like, Greg only cared about one thing. health and wellness.
It's funny now because like
So funny now. It's so weird. People can
Uh,
see
so
it now.
my brother was talking about Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And though he was acquitted and he never got proven that he was doing anything weird or anything, like we all knew about it, but we still listened to his music. Right?
I guess I didn't watch the documentary, but like, yeah. Unfortunately, I want to say, if you said, "Hey, Sevan, I'm going to give you $1 million," do you think Michael Jackson was a pedophile or not? I would vote yes, but I just feel so bad doing that because I never saw him diddling kids. But
Right.
if I had to bet, you're right. I would bet.
Let's operate under the idea that he was guilty. We'll never prove that.
Okay.
No one cared. Everybody when Thriller came on, everybody still loves Thriller.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that pisses me off about Greg is that you're doing he made the thing you're doing.
Yeah.
Like
he made it for everyone. He made it for everyone.
Right.
He made it for Nazis. He made it for the Taliban. He made it for Jews. He made it for blackies. He made it for Armos. He made it for every motherfucker. And he didn't give a fuck who did it. He didn't give a fuck. He wanted everyone to do it and be part of the experiment. And that's why
what kills me about people now is that like
crazy.
they have to dance around acting like they don't.
It's crazy.
Look, they can't say anything nice about Dave because they'll get or not Dave, but Greg because they'll get canceled. But like, we know that
if everyone would, we all know that if everyone did what he said 20 years ago, that we wouldn't be in this predicament today and there would be no pandemic. We're 150,000% sure of that. No one would even know it's here. Yeah.
My phone's going to die, Sevan.
I got to go, dude. I'm supposed to be taking my kids to the pool and fucking around with Jason Watkins. Peace and love, brother. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, boss.
Wad Zombie. Make sure everyone follow Wad Zombie. It's the only meme account I follow. Game scoring boards the shit out of me. But I do like the Wad Zombie account. Brian Friend just texted me. Dave Castro called on the show today. I got like 8 or 9 other things to talk about. Don't put rain boots on your kids. Don't put any shoes on your kids that affect their ankle flexion. Don't put shoes on your kids. But if you're going to, please, for crying out loud, don't put rain boots. Okay, guys, I'm going swimming with the boys. Love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you got a good time on the show. Tomorrow morning, I have the great Jason Hopper on. That's going to be crazy because he doesn't talk, and I don't think Brian's coming on the show. Maybe I have to invite Taylor Self to be on. Or maybe tomorrow Jason converts me to be a Christian. And I will talk to you guys soon.